Hello, this is Winchester Now with news from around our city. I'm Mary Blaxland, and on today's programme, the Winchester charity helping everyone to feel confident travelling by train. Winchester's regeneration moves a step closer. How you could help save a life. And we meet the nasty neighbours as it's curtains up on the Chesil Theatre's latest show.
Winchester Radio.
A new project is changing the lives of people with learning disabilities by giving them more confidence to travel by public transport. It's a joint initiative between South Western Railway, the Hampshire Community Rail Partnership and the charity Winchester Go LD. Entitled Travel with Confidence, it's helping them learn new skills, such as boarding trains and how to seek help at stations. I spoke to the charity's CEO, Betty Chadwick, and began by asking how difficult it can be for someone with a non-visible disability to use the train.
Hugely difficult. People with a learning disability, by definition, take longer to process information or find processing information difficult. When you arrive at a station, information is presented to you in lots of different ways. You have noise, different sights, screens, moving screens, danger, different people, different social interactions. That's just on a quiet day at a station. If you ramp that up into when it's busy, that type of slightly chaotic, busy, hustle and bustle environment can be really very stressful and very difficult for our members to process or to know how to react or where to seek help from.
And what does the project involve?
There are about 3 main strands to the project. The first strand was for Winchester Go LD to practice, skill up and train our members who are adults with learning disabilities to learn what's available to them at the station and on the train in terms of resources and help. Also to train our staff and our volunteers. There's an awful lot of help available that we didn't know about. So we've really enjoyed learning about ways that the station and the train can help us with our journeys. Then our members have been out in the learning disability community. So we've approached other day services and other groups who support adults with learning disabilities. And we've taken 2 or 3 of our members to train their groups. We've done a workshop, so a sort of theory workshop, a visit round stations, so practicing buying tickets, practicing pressing the help button, knowing where on the station to go for help, learning about the yellow line, all the sort of really key parts of the station. And then our third training visit is an actual trip on the train. And we do that through South Western Railway's initiative Try the Train, where they fund groups to have an experience on the train to learn a bit more about it.
And what difference have you seen it made so far, and what difference do you hope it'll make in the future?
The difference for our members in terms of the growth in their confidence and their enthusiasm to go by train the growth is almost immeasurable. It's really big. They're coming to ask us for being involved on train trips. They're requesting more train trips. They go to the station, they say hello and no to the station staff because we're now really familiar with them. So it's a really friendly place for them to go now. It's opened up opportunities in terms of travel where our guys can go on days out. We've got some who go to watch the football in Southampton and they travel by train to go there. Some prefer to go to the ice cream parlour in Eastleigh. They go by train. One of our members, her train goal is to get to London Waterloo to visit her brother. And that's something we're working towards. We'll achieve that, I'm sure.
And is the project still ongoing? Are there more plans for the future?
The project's a 4-month project and we're in month 3 at the moment. We had aimed to train 6 learning disability groups within Hampshire. We've signed up 8 already and we've got a waiting list. It seems to be a really popular idea. After that, we're producing some videos. They will be forever and they will be accessible online as a training resource for groups to see firsthand through lived experience by the experts who are our members exactly what top tips and recommendations they've put in place.
You must be very proud of what your team have achieved.
From my perspective, this is the first time Winchester Go LD has really embraced a training project that is participant-led. So it is our members who are leading the project and delivering the training. And it's something that I am so incredibly proud of how well they've done. They've well exceeded any expectation that we had. They are just brilliant. And it's been incredibly empowering for them. So yeah, it's been really, really great.
Now, last week we interviewed City Council leader Martin Todd about the plans to regenerate Winchester City Centre. Well, it took a step forward this week with the announcement of the new development partner for the Central Winchester Regeneration Project, Jigsaw Consortium. The scheme promises to transform the area around the bus station, King's Walk and Friarsgate, including new homes, restaurants, a hotel and public spaces. Anna attended a special event to name the new partner and began by asking Martin Todd about the challenges ahead.
One of the biggest challenges is giving people confidence that we're going to do it differently from how different previous schemes have happened. And it's going to feel much more like Winchester, a place that's new and refreshed and takes this part of the city that is quite run down and makes it feel like a new part of our city, but brings that new life that we're looking for. New housing, new businesses, somewhere that sort of sets out how things are going to develop in the future.
And some of the stumbling blocks can be the time something takes, of course, whether people like the final outcome, and also the costs. I mean, just to give our listeners an idea, what's the whole scheme going to cost?
Well, one of the reasons we picked a development partner is that they are the people who will be writing the checks in order to build the buildings. And yes, we will get a financial return from it because the council is putting land in and we have, people who are paying us rents and money from car parks in that area. We need to think about how we recover that. The last time we looked at it, it's potentially north of £100 million, more than that, and it's something that as a council we can't do ourselves. And one of the things we've learned, and one of the reasons why some of the projects that have been blocked in the past have become unblocked, is because we're finding partners who can do the things that we can't do as a local council in order to make things happen. And that's what we're doing here. We've got a partner that's got a proven track record of delivering great regeneration projects in other parts of the country, and now they're going to do it here with us, in partnership, in collaboration with us and with the people and businesses of Winchester.
Hello, my name's Richard Clancy. I'm the Managing Director of Kojima Partnerships. We're absolutely delighted to be involved in this project with Winchester for the regeneration of the city centre, and we think we're a transformational project for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Now for other stories making the news in Winchester this week, here's Steve.
Parliamentary Standards Commissioner is continuing his investigations into the Winchester MP Steve Bryan. It's over claims he lobbied the NHS on behalf of a firm he received money from. It's alleged he breached Parliament's rules of paid advocacy and declaration of an interest. The MP, who chairs the Commons Health Committee, said he was responding to a call from ministers to help the NHS during the COVID pandemic. An electric bus has taken to the roads around Winchester as part of a trial by the council and Stagecoach. Charged by a portable charger at the depot, the prototype vehicle will be used for a 4-week period on the city centre park and ride route. It will then be evaluated in terms of its performance, comfort and effectiveness. South Western Railway is to install defibrillators at all 154 of the staffed stations on its network, in a project costing around £500,000. The defibrillators will be placed in protective cabinets close to the front entrance of the stations, to be used day or night in the event of cardiac incidents at or near stations. The rollout of the machines begins this month and it is expected to be completed in the summer. 2 new bike shelters have been opened in Winchester, in the Middlebrook Street and Colebrook Street car parks. They've been funded by Hampshire County Council's Active Travel Fund. The City Council says it's the first stage in improving Winchester's cycle parking provision, which will also include additional stands across the city centre. There's also a bike maintenance station in King's Walk. And finally, if you think it's too early to plan for Christmas, then think again. Applications have opened already for stall holders at this year's Cathedral Christmas Market. The Cathedral says it's seeking high quality and unique products that can't be seen on the high street. The deadline for applicants is the 9th of April. The market attracts tens of thousands of visitors every year.
Winchester Radio.
A charity in the Meon Valley has trained more than 35,000 people in life-saving skills since it started 20 years ago. But it's appealing for more people to come forward to learn these vital techniques. Meon Valley Heart Start gives training sessions in schools, colleges, businesses and to members of the public. Anna talked to founder David Williamson.
Basically, we train people in how to save a life. We train children in schools as young as 4-year-olds, right the way through the school life to colleges, and also members of the public in life-saving skills by doing various courses using videos and also demonstrations. We've trained something like 35,000 people in Hampshire alone in the last 20 years. Our ambition, however, is to train a fifth of the population of Hampshire, something like 75,000 people by 2030. That's our ambition. People enjoy our courses. They are free, but if anyone wants to make a donation, that does help us to maintain sort of the service that we do.
And David, in terms of the courses, I mean, I think these are available to all kinds of organisations, be they churches or charities or young people's groups or even businesses. And how long do the courses last? Because it's a one-off session, isn't it?
Yeah, well, certainly for the adults, that's about a 2.5 hour session because I'm a retired paramedic and there's lots of my instructors are doctors, consultants, and they've got lots of experience. So we often have little stories about our experience, how we've used those skills to save lives. But the children's ones, for the very, very young children, we have a 1 hour session. But for the a little bit older children, we go back about 3 times and we do in 1 hour sessions. So we do 3 1-hour sessions for the older primary school children and above.
And for people who are hearing this, I mean, one, they may be interested in learning how to save a life because it's such a valuable skill. And I want to talk to you in a moment about how you got involved because I know that's a beautiful story. But also, you need volunteers to help you with this work.
We certainly do, yeah. It's people who not only can actually teach, but also we've got lots of people fundraising. One particular thing we want at the moment is a marketing manager to promote this out to the public generally. We're all volunteers. We don't charge anything for our time. It's a great team. I've got about 30 people and we need more. And we want to encourage young people to come into involved in this and actually encouraging other young people as well. I'm getting a bit old now, but I've got a few stories I can tell, I'm going to say.
Now, I think the lovely heartwarming story, you mentioned to our listeners earlier that you are a retired paramedic, but tell us a little bit about your own experience of actually saving a life.
Well, that started when I was 14 years old. I happened to be living in Essex. I was responsible for helping to save 2 girls' lives who were drowning. That actually really had a very warming feeling inside. I didn't want to tell my parents about it. I went home, but the youth club leader who was with me at the time, she knocked on my front door and told my dad, you realise what David's been up to? And he said, what's he done now? Type of attitude. No, he's just saved a couple of girls' lives. Actually, that was when I was 14. I'm now 77. And it was about 4 years ago that I actually met up with those 2 girls who we saved. And it's the first time I'd met them. And the story goes on, actually. It's quite interesting. But to say that we did meet up about 58 years later. They, like me, are grandparents now. And they wouldn't have been grandparents had we not saved their lives. So what a lovely thought it was,
Perhaps, is it what spurred you on to become a paramedic?
I suppose it must have been. I didn't think of it at the time. In fact, the reality was I didn't swim out there. I took a little boat out there because I couldn't swim at all. But it was the youth club leader who swam out. And then when I realised she was in trouble, I took this little boat from the side of the shore with its oars on. And I managed to get out there and get them to hang on the side. We got them back to shore and we resuscitated one of them who was unconscious. And as I say, they survived. So I suppose it did inspire me. And since then, I must have helped to save, not personally, but by teaching other people, thousands of people, how to save a life.
And it's such a valuable skill because I think all of us in a crisis, if something happened to one of our loved ones, we'd like to know there's somebody nearby who's got the skills to know what to do. Those valuable minutes whilst you're waiting for an ambulance are quite crucial in a situation that's really serious.
It's so true. And I've been in a situation where I've got to the scenes of a serious accident and people said, well, I didn't know what to do, so I just called the ambulance. Well, calling the ambulance is the first important thing, but to be able to do something as well, a lot of people walk away thinking, oh dear, if only I knew. And that's what we're trying to get people to learn, know what to do, how to do it safely, so they don't sort of put themselves in danger, and so they can save a life. And that's what we're trying to do. And we've had a lot of success stories of boys of 11-year-old, how they've saved their dad's life by recognising that they were, having a heart attack and getting them into hospital.
And for more information about the charity and their courses, you can visit their website, heartstartmeonvalley.co.uk. Now for our shout-outs, including a mention of one of our guests on last week's show. Here's Paul.
We have lots of award winners to shout out about today. Firstly, a special celebration has been held to present the Hampshire Hospital's People's Awards. These mark outstanding care in our local hospital, and amongst the recipients was Clinical Service Lead Sam Jackson, and he featured in our programme last week talking about virtual wards. He took home the Innovation Award. Other winners include health support workers, ward sisters and whole teams. The Trust say staff go above and beyond for patients every day, and the awards recognise their amazing efforts. And more awards were given out this time by the Mayor of Winchester. These recognise people who've made a real difference to their local community in the Winchester district. The awards were presented at a special ceremony at Winchester Guildhall. Recipients included 3 long-standing volunteers from Winchester's Citizens Advice. Congratulations also to a third-year University of Winchester nursing student who has been shortlisted for a Student Nursing Times Award. Sophie Amos is one of only 10 students to be shortlisted for the honour and the only one in the south of England. She's been commended for her work to champion student nurses within the NHS, as well as helping to shape the university's nursing course. The winner will be announced at the end of April. Good luck, Sophie.
Winchester Radio.
Finally today, there's twitching curtains and tension in the neighbourhood. The black comedy Nasty Neighbours is the latest production at the Chesil Theatre, and opening night is this weekend. I went along to meet 2 of those involved and get a small sneak preview.
Oh, he seemed very nice, actually.
Who?
Him next door.
When did he seem very nice?
Yesterday.
You saw him yesterday?
Yes.
What, to speak to?
Yes, Harold. He doesn't bite, you know.
Hello, I'm Maria Head, and I play Jean Peach in this play, and I've been a member of the Chesil for a long time.
So tell me a bit about your character. What's she like?
Well, there's a point in the play where the next door neighbours call, well, just me and my husband, Mr. and Mrs. Twitchit. So she's constantly at the neck curtains and challenging neighbours. Yes, she's very challenging, always looking at what's going on. She's a very material person. Her husband struggles with that side of it, always wanting things. Belongs to a catalogue club and is always looking through it to see what she can buy. But she keeps a very close eye on the neighbours.
She sounds like a fun character to play.
Oh, she is. Yeah, she's great fun. Yes, and I don't do this voice. It's more, oh, Harold. So it's this sort of voice. I hope it's very different from me. I don't think I'm a nasty neighbour. It's great fun, yeah. It is a black comedy, but Jean and Harold, they do have some lovely lines, so yeah, it is quite funny.
He seemed very, very nice. In business, he is.
Oh, well, that's what he said, was it? He's in business.
What, more or less?
Oh, very dodgy.
Well, my name's Heather Bradford, and I'm the director of Nasty Neighbours by Debbie Isitt.
And what do you enjoy about being the director?
Because it's total immersion. You get involved, or you're allowed to have ideas about every single aspect of the show, and that's why I like it, because you're not sitting around waiting for something to happen. You're the person that has to make it happen. I like being in that role.
And what's it like directing this play in particular? Is this quite fun? Is it quite stressful? What's it like?
Well, it's very, very complicated. It's like 3 separate plays running in parallel. We have 45 scenes. We have about 50 sound effects and 101 light changes. So it's quite rapid fire, and I think we all enjoy that because we have to keep on our toes and keep moving.
And you've got a busy year, haven't you, at the Chesil Theatre? There's a lot going on this year.
Yes, there is a lot. There's another play coming up fairly soon called The Price of Love, which is about the life of Ruth Ellis. Then after that, we have our wonderful outdoor production called Treasure Island, which will have a cast of thousands, and it will take place in the grounds of Winchester College. So that's going to be really spectacular. And I believe they're building a wonderful set. I can't give too much away at the moment, but I think it's going to be amazing.
And the theatre's just going from strength to strength from the look of it.
Yes, it is going from strength to strength. We nearly always have sold-out runs, full houses. We have an active social side to the theatre. We will be building a new extension in the future, so there's a lot going on and a lot to look forward to.
You can be very naive, Jean.
Why do you always have to spoil everything, Harold?
It sounds like you have a lot of lines to learn. How do you go about doing that?
Well, I've done it since I was about 9. So I just keep going. I can visualise the lines on the page. So, I know when I've turned the page, I know where they come. But a lot of work. You do have to keep going over it and looking out for little bits that you might miss. But, so far so good.
Do you get nervous when it's opening night?
I get nervous earlier in the day. But once I'm here with the cast, that's when the magic happens.
Well, Nasty Neighbours runs from the 25th of March to the 1st of April, with some shows already sold out. Visit chesiltheatre.org.uk for tickets and more information. Well, that's it for this week. Do get in touch with any stories you would like to share at news@winchester.radio. Many thanks for listening, and goodbye until next week.